A.J. Foyt.
Ken, A.J. told me before the race that he didn't really think he had much of a chance. This car has had some problems with its handling. He came in earlier and changed the two outside tires, the right side tires. Just came in again to change readjust the stabilizer bar at the back. The car just isn't working very well, although he seems to be in an amazingly good humor, at least before the race, so we'll see how he goes. He's not probably going to do very well, doesn't he?
Bad day for A.J. Here's Ongais in heavy lap traffic. Let's see how he tries to thread the needle here. Here's Ongais trying to move around some lapped automobiles. Earlier, I had a chance to chat with Danny Ongais. Danny, you're currently third in the standings, but you're number one in the wins. You've taken 3 wins. A year ago, you were just another name in the running. What's caused this revolution for Danny Ongais?
I don't know. It's just something that happened along the way. Again, I have to attribute to all of the people around me who helped and who continue to give 100% so that we can all do well together.
And is he doing well? Take a look at this move inside out of turn number 2. Danny Ongais just flying here today, hurtling, hellhounding around this track, blitzing the competition. Sneva still in second, 2 6/10 seconds behind now, with Bobby Unser running third. Ongais continues to turn up the wick in the Rex Mays Classic. Freshy, who qualified 19th for this event, is in the pits. This is an unscheduled stop for his car number 87. Freshy is in. But the man who is of the moment, thrashing around this mile racetrack, is Danny Ongais. Here he comes, ready to put a lap on Mike Mosley as he scoots into turn number 1. The phenomenal Danny Ongais. He's been running some sport car races, giving our old pal David Hobbs the jitters in race after race this year. He's been out here in championship car racing. Here he is diving under 2 cars and getting fodder up here in turn number 3.
We've got a great shot of coming off of turn 4. You can watch this bump that unsettles the car right there. See how it shakes the car? That's really difficult.
Looks like look at it. Just turn that wheel and go right down to the inside and finally put Mike Mosley away in car number 7, put him a lap down.
Mike was not easy to pass, even though he's being lapped. One fine driver, Mike Mosley.
The throttle turn, or rather the steering turn on these cars is so slight, Dan, to get them through a corner. How about telling me how much?
Well, I think that Danny probably doesn't move his hands more than about 3 inches, and if everything is right, you'd make a lap without moving it more than about ½ an inch. But in the traffic, or if the car gets unsettled over a bump, why, you might have to move it half a turn, which is getting serious.
Dan, they say that competitors, there's Tom Sneva running back there in second place, interval 2 7/10 seconds from the leader back to the second place car. They say you always want to be smooth and make 1 pass through a corner. Now, you've sat on the pole here at Milwaukee yourself. Can you make it in 1 pass around Milwaukee?
Well, being smooth is difficult to say just being smooth, because you're trying to be smooth as hard as you can, which is very, very difficult. That's how you squeeze the speed and the time out. You want every little hundredth of a second.
Bobby Unser back here in third spot, car number 48. Unser running in the 3rd position. And he's running back a couple of seconds from the 2nd place machine. Ongais streaks the line, leading the field.
Bobby seems to have pulled away from 4th place, Johnny Rutherford. There's Danny again.
There are some of the scorers doing their job, keeping track of these cars per lap. All important here because of the fuel situation on these cars. Now, how many fuel stops will the cars make today, Dan?
I believe they'll make at least 2.
And how much fuel was allocated for today's race?
Approximately 88 gallons, which after you figure the warm-up, the fuel used on the pace lap and so forth, ends up being, you have to achieve 1.8 miles per gallon or else you will not finish.
It's a strange line that Ongais takes. Let's watch him here in 3 and 4. He seems to dive down and then let it bubble out as he comes off the apex of the turn, Dan.
Well, here's that bump again. Watch it shake the car. Ooh.
And I imagine inside that car, that's really a whack.
He's trying to gauge just how close Tom is behind him, and I think he probably has more, but he's trying to conserve that car. He doesn't have to finish very far ahead as long as he's ahead. The race is yet to unfold, I'm sure.
Dixon he's working on here.
I think it's Larry Dixon.
Could be Gil. Ooh.
Look at that. Ouch.
And he has to shut it down.
See that? Ooh, boy.
He gets pinned right down below the line and pulls away. Flat tire on Dick Simon's car.
Simon's left rear.
Yes, indeed, Dick. It is a flat, and it is on the rear. There's his crew out.
They're giving him fuel at the same time. I don't think they realize that he needs a tire here. Oh, here it comes.
When would you?
That'll really
that looks
hurt.
dangerous to me when you see that fuel coming out over that hot automobile like that.
Yes, it certainly is. Also, this is all going on under the green light, so he's in trouble.
Dick Simon, La Machine, in a bit of difficulty out here now.
Again, lots of heat. That about does it for Dick.
Trying to push Simon's car away, and something else is amiss on Dick Simon's automobile. Insurance man from Salt Lake City, Utah. He's done everything. Parachuting, skier, and there's something wrong on the left rear tire still. They're still trying to make some amends on that automobile. Now, what are they doing, Dan?
Well, I would guess that they feel the nut holding the wheel on is not all the way home, and they're going to try and make sure it's on all the way.
Danny Ongais stays out in front as we complete 48 of 150 miles laps on this 1-mile Milwaukee track. Ongais darting through traffic, building up a fantastic advantage out here. You can begin to see turning 28 and 3/10 of a second this last lap, and now he's building up his lead to 11 seconds. And
There he is lapping A.J. Foyt.
Going all the way down the inside. When he's not running well, he'll give you plenty of room. Signboard out for Ongais. How do you read a sign going 170 miles an hour, Dan, that size?
Well, you'd be surprised. I think that once you're used to it, a fellow like Danny can do it quite easily.
I have never figured out. They can watch who's behind them to make sure they stay in front, watch the gauges, get the cars to turn, and still see which way they're going. We'll return with more live action from the Milwaukee 150 right after this word from your local station. The 1978 Indianapolis 500-mile champion Al Unser, Albuquerque, New Mexico, has just brought the Jim Hall car in for an unscheduled stop on number 2. What did it look like to you, Daniel?
Well, again, I'll guess, Ken, I think possibly they're having some fuel feed problems, and it's starting to run out of fuel early. It may not be picking up all the fuel that is in the car. Now, they did add fuel. I don't think they put any wheels on, so they're out back on the racetrack again.
First place automobile, and here's A.J. Foyt in still another time, his third stop of the day, and now it's a conference call out there on car number 14. We're also seeing car number 24 coming into the pits at this moment, who is Tom Bigelow. He's driving the Sheldon Kinser car. Kinser getting upside down here in a sprint car and separating the shoulders, so Bigelow is now in his ride. Car number 24 getting ready to come out, the Wilkie car out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tom Bigelow, very good sprint car driver. And here's Steve, a second-place campaigner, now in the pits. Ongais leading the event. This would move.
Now, Tom is having a stop on a green light. Now, that is unusual. I'm surprised that he would have stopped at this point in the race.
We've also seen Salt Walter coming in here.
Did you see that? Getting on the gas, it really lit up there and spun the tires. They almost ran into the pace car. Yeah.
Ongais staying out in front. Still building up a big lead. Dick Simon is just repitting his automobile, and we are showing 55 laps complete. 55 laps down in this 150-mile, 150-lap event. And now I would say this is pit time, because we're watching as several cars are coming in. Tom Bagley, Steve Krisaloff. What a story on Krisaloff here in the car number 40 this year. He's done just an outstanding job with this machine. He's had an up and down career, had done sports car racing to begin his career, came out of the championship cars, was picked up by the Pat Patrick team, and has really had pretty good luck. He's fourth in the standings. He started the season with a second-place finish at Phoenix. Lost an engine in Ontario, California. The worst finish he's had this year has been 8th.
He looks super strong in Indianapolis, yeah.
We understand that in 2 laps, the leader will pit. Now, Now, what are the problems when you come into the pits and you're the driver in the car, Dan Gurney? What are the problems that you face when you try to bring that car in, keep it under control, and then get it through the gears and back out?
Well, of course, you hope you won't make a mistake such as overshooting the pits or late braking, and yet you don't want to go so slow that you'll just waste a lot of time. It's just as much a race during a pit stop as it is out on the racetrack. The clock is running, and you can win or lose during a good or a bad pit stop, so the pressure is really on.
Amidst all that noise and all that seeming confusion and turmoil, here's car number 25 around the third and fourth turn. Amidst all that confusion, how do you keep that engine running? How do you hear it? Who are watching this today?
I think it's very difficult, but I think race drivers develop the ability to concentrate under this really difficult environment, and their senses are tuned to hear just those things, and that's the way they have to cope with it. It doesn't always work, but a fellow like Danny is certainly, he has the touch.
Expecting Danny Ongais to pit this time around. How difficult are these cars to shift?
Actually, they're quite good as far as shifting goes, Ken, if everything is working correctly. Your hand probably does not have to move more than an inch to change gear.
Ongais is signaling that he's coming in. Moving in is Danny Ongais. Brock Yates is right there in his pit area. Let's go to Brock.
Into the pits. They're going to change the two outside tires. The two right side tires are being changed. About 35 gallons of fuel goes on. This car has air jacks, so the car just leaps off the ground with a little application of compressed air. Half happened in the right front tire man. His job's done. Rear tire's on, and he's underway. A good quick stop.
Beautiful pit stop on the leader. Unser has come in. You see Johnny Parsons in. All the leaders now pitting. We are at lap 61. We are at lap 61. Here is Rick Muir's automobile. Number 7, he's coming in one of the Penske PC6 automobiles.
Rick
and
is
we have
leading as he comes in, Ken.
Wholesale change of positions here among the leaders as they all elect to come in here at the 60 through 63 or 4 lap area of the race. Johnny Rutherford is inheriting first position in all this, but he will shortly have to pit, and the lead would be reappropriated by Danny Ongais before too much longer. So as the pit stops continue, Rick Mears comes back on the track in one of the Penske automobiles, and we'll be back with more live of the Rex Mays Classic. Well, the report from scoring is that a car number 48, a Gurney Eagle, is leading with the second place car. Number 4, Johnny Rutherford, and number 25, Ongais, is in third. That's the biggest smile I've seen on your face, Gurney, in a year and a half.
Well, I hope all the people at ARCO are happy, and I certainly am.
Hey, coming up next Saturday and Sunday here on CBS, it's the Canadian Open. Lee Trevino expected to defend his title. Also expected to compete, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Hubie Green. Don't forget, it's next week for the Canadian Open here on CBS both Saturday and Sunday with a 4 p.m. start time. Well, Ongais, who had the lead according to the latest figures, is now looking up from under. They say he has just passed Rutherford. That would put him up into second position, but they are still showing car number 48. There it is, Bobby Unser, two-time Indianapolis 500-mile champion. Is he as hard to get along with, Dan, as it's reported?
Why, of course he is. Bobby is a very intense individual. He does not like to do anything but win, and I think being difficult to get along with is part and parcel of being a great driver, although there are exceptions. But, I mean, all the great drivers are easy to get along with when things are going well, and just they're miserable when things aren't going well. I think that's what you must expect.
And as we mentioned earlier, it's been since 1976 that Unser has tasted victory lane. How long has it been since Dan Gurney has put one of his cars in victory lane? One of your own cars, Dan?
Well, ours dates back to 1975, Kim.
So let's see what happens here. Car number 48 is being shown in first place, the Gurney Eagle. And that is the new car, right, Daniel?
That's correct. New ARCO Eagle.
What is the difference between this and your other cars?
Well, this one's better, I hope.